It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Jimmer Szatkowski, franchise owner, operator of Chick-fil-A, Cicero, and Clay. And then Christmas conversation with Tom and Steve. You'll have to strap in for that one. It's going to be fun. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And remember, folks, you can see us on YouTube. All you have to do is go to YouTube, which, people find themselves there every day. I know I do. And just search up Zoey Advertising, and you'll see all the videos associated with Zoey Advertising. Right now, Steve, it is our pleasure to talk with Jimmer Szatkowski, a perennial favorite here at the show, franchise owner, operator of Chick-fil-A, Cicero, and Clay. Jimmer, how are you?
I am well. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. How many kids you have?
Betty and I have 3 children.
3 children together. And what are their ages?
Our daughter Samantha is 22, son Jack, 20, and Hunter, our youngest son, is 13.
Yeah. So you're in the high technology type of Christmas gifts and stuff like
cash and high technology.
They're kind of the same.
Yes. It simplifies Christmas.
Yeah, right. In a way, it kind of does. But it was so much easier. I remember going to Babies R Us and Toys R Us, and it was so easy to go down the aisle, and I was grabbing stuff, and it was expensive, but not that bad, and you knew they were going to be satisfied with everything. Yeah. Now it's a little more highly specialized.
I just pushed the cart, Tom.
Yeah.
Those kinds of
I've
places.
gotten into a habit when someone asks me, "Are you?" This time of the year they say, "So you're ready for Christmas?"
Yeah,
right.
You're ready. Yeah.
I just say, "I don't know. Ask Betty."
Yeah, right. That's right.
No, that's absolutely true.
So, Jimmer, I don't know that there's anyone who doesn't know you, but that would be very arrogant of us to feel like everybody knows
everyone
him.
does listen to the show, Tom.
Well, that's right. So, in case there's people who don't know who you are.
Moved in the area.
Yeah.
They're new.
Why don't you give them your background, Jimmer, and let them know how you came to be an owner of these Chick-fil-A's.
Sure. So I grew up in upstate New York, over near Buffalo. Go Bills. And was fortunate to go to college, SUNY Potsdam, Clarkson University. I got hired right away by IBM, spent 20 years there, felt called to do something more gratifying with my life, and was blessed to be selected as a Chick-fil-A operator about 5 years ago. And so we opened the Cicero restaurant almost 5 years ago exactly.
Wow, 5 years.
February 22nd. Which was the first Chick-fil-A in upstate New York. And then about a year and a half ago, we opened the second restaurant up in Clay. So
very nice.
Yeah, it's been quite a run.
And why did you want to become a Chick-fil-A franchisee? Am I using that's the right term? Or what?
Well, the truth is, I didn't know that I did. I had a friend who left IBM and went to work at Chick-fil-A at their corporate headquarters, and I kind of fell in love with Chick-fil-A as a guest living in North Carolina. And I would call him every once in a while at Chick-fil-A corporate headquarters, and he would just rave about what it was like to be part of it. And so eventually I reached a point where I knew I no longer wanted to work at IBM. And I called them and told them that, and he asked me if I'd ever thought about being a Chick-fil-A operator. My answer was no.
Right.
But here I am.
And you gave this number before.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I know it was a big number. 1 out of 10 gazillion times. There was some number of people that actually have interest and then actually get the gig.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So basically, The first step to become a Chick-fil-A operator is you submit an expression of interest online. Last year, about 80,000 people did that.
That's a lot, yeah.
Wow.
And last year, we opened about 140 restaurants. So you can do some math.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
There's a ratio
So
in there
one out
somewhere.
of 8,000. Tom, gonna be like Tom. Do the math.
It's easier to get into Harvard.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, we're
That's
0 for 2.
something.
We didn't have a Chick-fil-A, and we didn't get into Harvard.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Steve's not even allowed on the grounds.
Yeah.
Lord knows I would not get into Harvard,
Yeah.
so I'm glad Chick-fil-A.
Well, you
saw it
went to
then.
Clarkson. You must have a bean there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't sell yourself short.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And Steve, you're no slouch.
Yes. I'm waiting.
Well, you're a tremendous slouch.
Thank you. You did not let me down.
That was good. Tim.
I'm waiting.
Yes.
So, Jimmer, is there anything new on the menu in 2023 for Chick-fil-A? Anything new coming down the pike?
Well, at some point next year, we're going to have a limited time offer sandwich, seasonal.
Okay.
It is a Chick-fil-A original sandwich with pimento cheese spread on it,
Oh, I love that. Yes.
a couple of jalapenos,
It just got better.
and drizzled honey.
Oh, yeah.
And how many calories does that have, Tim?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Enough.
It'll keep you going. It'll stoke you for the day.
Enough to properly energize you.
Yes.
I like that answer.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I have
answer.
tried it.
Very nice.
So, what was it about the culture that you wanted to embrace?
You know, what I saw was whenever I was around people who were part of Chick-fil-A, you realize that they feel deeply connected to something bigger than themselves. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but I knew that in a lot of my previous endeavors, most people who worked at the place
Yeah.
did not feel deeply connected.
Right.
So I knew that was special. And then I started to learn about Chick-fil-A, and I realized that it all comes down to one thing: the purpose, our corporate purpose, the reason that every Chick-fil-A restaurant exists, and it is the following: to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that's entrusted to us, and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And that's pretty awesome.
But where does the rubber meet the road on that? That sounds
Yeah,
okay. Okay,
I'll
so unpack that a little bit.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, when we make our most difficult decisions as a company, where we're going strategically, where we need to invest, that is the point on the horizon, not profit. So that takes priority over everything else.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, during my time at IBM,
That was not
the case.
That was not the mission. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The rubber meets the road when you're making your most difficult decisions. I like to say your purpose or your values are not what you say they are. They're what you walk past. They're what you tolerate. And at Chick-fil-A, it's been my experience, both in my restaurants, obviously, but also with corporate, that at the end of the day, that's what drives us. That's what drives us.
We'll talk about what kind of people work at Chick-fil-A and why they might come to you to work there next. And we'll talk about some of the challenges that you've had as well. It's not a road paved with diamonds and roses. And we'll talk about that next right here on The Local Show. We've been talking with Jimmer Szatkowski. He's the franchise owner and operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero and Clay. Stick around. More Christmas special coming and more talk with Jimmer next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and Merry Christmas. You've got Tom and Steve on The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. And please check out the YouTube channel for Zoey Advertising. It's really simple. Just go on to YouTube and search up Zoey Advertising. You'll see all the videos there. Like and subscribe to the page, and then you will get all of these wonderful interviews that we do every single week, like this continued one with Jimmer Szatkowski, franchise owner-operator of Chick-fil-A in Cicero and in Clay. We were talking about the culture at Chick-fil-A, and one of the questions I had is, what type of people go to work at Chick-fil-A, and do you specifically seek out a person that has a particular faith, or can they just come in as a secular person and join the team?
Great question. And there's nothing I like talking about more than my people. So first of all, let me answer that question directly, real quick. Anyone can work at Chick-fil-A. Anyone who has a Christ-like heart. That doesn't mean they have to be a Christian, right? Mm-hmm. Anyone who recognizes that every interaction you have with another person is a gift. A gift to shine some light into their life. And so when I sit down with someone at an interview, Tom, what I'm really trying to figure out is this person a remarkable person in some element of their life, whether it's their faith life, personal, professional, academic, athletic. And if you give me a remarkable person, I can work with that person.
Yeah.
I can shape them and coach
So
them.
if I said you want people that are willing to serve other people, is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, what do we say when you say thank you, Steve?
Well, it's my pleasure.
It's my pleasure.
My pleasure.
Right. It's my pleasure to serve you.
And you got to mean it, don't you?
Correct. So
it's my pleasure.
people are like, they say, hey, Jimmer, do you make people say it's my pleasure? The short answer is yes, in that it is part of our standard.
Yeah.
But what I'm really looking for is for them to feel that in their heart, that it's a pleasure to serve another person.
So let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
Tom had mentioned a personal struggle that you're having.
Sure.
And by golly, it's Christmas. Bring those things together for me.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, about it's going on 2 years now. I was diagnosed with ALS, and that's a tough road, very tough road. Certainly physically, but even more so emotionally. As I approach Christmas, we're in the Christmas season, it's a great reminder for me of Jesus, how he came to us, what he represented, and the reminder is this: no matter what's going on with me, I can't walk anymore on my own, right? I can't feed myself. I can't bathe myself. But this disease can never affect my ability to treat people as Jesus would. It can't affect my capacity to love. In fact, I will tell you this. It has only increased my capacity to love.
How do you do that in the midst of suffering? Because a lot of people would say, well, yeah, I believe in Jesus and life is not fair and I don't feel like it's treated me fair, or whatever. I've been betrayed personally, or my body's falling apart, or whatever. How would you address someone that was in that space?
Yeah. I feel like that at moments every day. Yeah, that's the truth. And what I've learned is if I stay there, what I'm going through is intolerable. But if I make the choice, because I have a choice, no matter what my circumstances are, Steve, I have a choice. If I make the choice to serve others, if I make the choice to focus on loving others, what I've learned is I can do anything, no matter what my condition is.
Right.
I can live a deeply meaningful life without walking, without even the ability to talk. I could. And so that, man, therein lies, like, I don't know, the secret to this whole thing. If you focus on what Jesus calls you to focus on, your circumstances are irrelevant.
Right. So now Christmas, what does Christmas mean to you now, maybe different than it did a few years ago?
It's certainly more precious.
Mm-hmm.
Precious.
Why?
Well, you know, one of the gifts of having ALS is God has given me great clarity. So when I'm sitting in a room around Christmas with my friends or family, I think I have a deeper appreciation of how sacred and precious and delicate those moments are. And so I enjoy them more. I'm not as distracted about all the nonsense that most of us waste our time worrying about. I think for me also, what this challenge has done is focus even more deeply on what Christmas really is, right? Christ coming to us as a human in this world and suffering like we suffer, like I'm suffering, all for us. Man, I just appreciate it all more.
So within the restaurants, you know, you're seen as the leader. Obviously, You started them. How do you lift up the employees? And you know, it's got to be difficult for them to see you like this sometimes.
Yeah, especially a few of them that I'm very close with, right? And many of the people who work for me are not my. I don't look at anyone who works for me as my employee, right? I try to hire people that I could be friends with, and so it's hard for them.
Yeah.
But when they see me doing my thing, continuing to do my thing, I think it gives them hope with whatever challenge they're going through, right? And actually, I find myself spending more and more of my time, Tom, encouraging people.
That's very nice.
The founder of Chick-fil-A, Truett Cathy, once said, "How do you know when someone needs encouragement?" And there was a pause. And then he said, "They're breathing."
There you go.
We all do.
Right, we all do.
So there's so many simple ways. You can just go up to somebody and say, "You know, I really appreciate your smile.
Yeah.
I really appreciate how you greet our guests." Yeah.
Well,
We have an infinite number of opportunities every day to encourage and bless people.
well, you're an amazing inspiration to many, and I'll say a platitude now more than ever.
Right.
As you,
It's funny how that works, huh?
it's funny how that works. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, brother.
You are a blessing, Jimmer. Thank you so much. And so are the peppermint, what do you call those things? Shakes.
Shakes.
I call them 660 calories.
Also a blessing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah. And Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas,
I love
Jimmer.
you both.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your friendship and you having
thank
me
you,
on the
man.
show. It means a lot to me.
God bless
I love
you.
you guys.
Love you too, man. All right. Next up, we're going to talk more Christmas with Tom and Steve, and maybe a couple of surprises thrown in there. I don't know what they are yet. That's why they're surprises. Right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM and, of course, YouTube.